Welcome back for our third game of the tournament. This is actually the... Oh geez, I should have checked first. I believe it is the third round. Let me check real quick. It's the second round. I just gave away the winner. Uh-oh. But we have in the top right corner, we have DirtyFly, which I know who he is. I know he comes to my chat all the time, but he has a different Twitch name than he does in-game name, so I always forget who he is. But he's spawning here in the top right as the blue Protoss. And then we have our hero, MacabreDerek, is the way it's pronounced apparently, who made this beautiful overlay that you're watching right now, I think, if I have the right screen up. There we go. And he's spawning in the bottom left as the orange Zerg. I don't see orange used very much. So he's been working on his game a lot. So we'll see how he does in a tournament setting. I know he doesn't always like laddering all the time, so we'll see if the stress of a tournament play, if you can handle it. So we aren't going to see any cheesy openings, it looks like. So we do have a pylon here in the base, which doesn't necessarily mean no cheese from Protoss, but we do have multiple drones from Zerg, which means no 6-pool. So, good start. I would recommend not 6-pooling in a tournament that you want to win. I do like this that I see Macabre do a lot, is he'll send his Overlord and set it on this patrol path, so we can see both the back of the mineral line and kind of in front of the base if they want to build anything here, like a proxy pylon or something like that. So I really like that idea. Uh-oh, we're going to have a battle here between the workers. And Probe's going to give up. And we do have the spawning pool go down. I'm guessing that was around 14, which is the standard pool timing for ZVP. Looks like we're going to try a little pylon block or probe block for this. And we're not going to have a forge fast expand, interestingly. Usually that's pretty standard for Protoss versus Zerg, but we're going to maybe see a gateway expand, or maybe a 4-gate, or something along those lines, but we will find out shortly, I'm sure. And we do have the expansion go down at 15 by Macabre, so everything's looking super standard right now, and everything is going pretty well. There isn't a queen started yet, but just as I say it, there it is. So we are going to get an early... Yeah, so there's going to be a little bit of a wall off here from DirtyFly, which I think is a good idea to do. I think it would have been a good idea to build that wall sort of here on this low ground so we can have an easy expansion and then cancel on the forge. So a little bit of uncertainty by DirtyFly right now. And he's going to replace it. Oh, I think he had actually the full wall off, which he didn't want to do. He wants to be able to get out of his base. So unfortunately I had to cancel that. I'm still not quite sure about this forge. Staying on one base sort of shows that he's going to be doing some early aggression, but putting the forge down shows that he's going to be doing a more macro-oriented defensive type build. So things are looking pretty interesting. We do have a pylon that I don't think has been spotted yet by Macabre. It has not. So that will be blocking his third, or potentially causing problems for Macabre if he wants to take a third and does not notice that. And here comes the second queen with a good inject. I think Macabre's playing this great right now for what he sees. He sees that there's no expansion, and so he's not going to be taking his third. He did get a good Overlord scout. He was able to see everything because there's no stalkers there yet, but there's a cannon, so he'll have to leave. But he can sort of tell that he's pretty safe right now. He doesn't really have to worry about too much other than a couple zealots that are just walling off. And there's warp gate tech. We do have really high energy for the Nexus right now. So we do have some Roach Warren and a mineraled drone going to make a evolution chamber. It makes the buildings build faster if you are holding mineral patch when you go to make a building, so it's always good practice to do. Please don't actually do that. I was making that up. And we'll see an inject. We'll see how injects are doing. It's going to be a little bit late, but he's opting to skip ling speed for right now, which is actually something that I do pretty often. I go much heavier roach in ZVP, so I will skip the ling speed until I want to transition into late game, and at which point I'll need a lot of lings to offset my heavy gas spending. Now DirtyFly still hasn't looked to expand, so Macabre is going to pull ahead quite significantly in supply and economy. For worker count, we have 47 drones to 26 probes, so Macabre's going to have a huge advantage for economy, and just be able to build stuff so much faster than DirtyFly. He does have the 4 gateways out that aren't really being used quite enough. His minerals are staying low, which is good, and he did have a supply block, so that was the reason for these 3 pylons that went down. Also the reason for, of course, the no production. Can't really build if you're supply blocked, unfortunately. And look at this map coverage by Macabre. Again, we saw it from Has0 earlier, and now we're seeing it from, and this is a good scout by Macabre also. But we saw it from Has0 earlier, and now we're seeing it from Macabre, this excellent map vision. And to see stuff like this for maybe warp prisms and just in general, a ling here for the expansion timing checks, and all kinds of good stuff going on. So this is a little bit more ling heavy than I thought it would be for skipping the. Okay, so he is getting metabolic boost now. I'll switch over to production tab so we can see stuff like that. So the ling speed was a little bit late, but it's not going to end up harming him, because he'll have it in time before he wants to attack. And like I said earlier, I mean, he's so ahead in economy that it doesn't even matter. Oh, he didn't end up getting that pylon kill. Look at that, 4 health. But this will be able to clean up that zealot and take out that pylon. So he may be looking to expand here, which isn't absolutely necessary, but one thing you can do when you're ahead is get further ahead. We're going to have a macro hatch here, which is good. We're getting high on minerals, and that'll be a great way to kind of spend this extra. A little bit oversaturated and perfectly saturated, so it's better to be oversaturated than undersaturated, but things are looking good on that aspect. And now we have a 50 supply lead by Macabre, and it's just growing. We're still on 1 base from DirtyFly, and it looks like he's just going to try to turtle in and hope that he just has good engagements when Macabre tries to peek up the ramp. And looks like maybe there was just a peek up there. There was a pullback by Macabre. This is also another thing you want to try to avoid doing when you're in the bronze level, silver level play, is queuing up a lot of expensive units like this. It's much better to make a second robotics facility and start making 2 at a time if you have the extra minerals than to queue up 4 immortals at the same time. Also, there's these 4 warp gates that are sitting off of cooldown that could be used to get rid of some of the minerals also. So we're going to have a little peek here. We'll see if Macabre did double expand as he pushed. So whichever way this goes, if this attack works or not, then he's going to be in a great position after this to just pull so far ahead. There are upgrades. These roaches are 0-1 right now, with missile attacks level 2 upgrading right now, and 11 more roaches coming. I think this was a good idea by Macabre to pull back. I think it was unnecessary losses that he didn't need to make. He could have kept on pressure just to kind of sort of mess with the mind of DirtyFly, keep him from building much of anything, keep him from expanding and stuff like that. But it was unnecessary to sacrifice those units when you have such a tremendous lead. Macabre knows that his opponent hasn't expanded anywhere. He has pretty good map vision. There's a couple of spots that there could be a hidden expansion, but I'm pretty sure he's pretty aware that that DirtyFly is still on one base, and now that he has 4, I'm sure he's in a very comfortable position right now. So we have 154 to 73 supply, with roaches still pumping out and hive tech coming, also pathogen land. So we're going to see hopefully some infestors once that upgrade starts coming along. I also like this upgraded overlord speed, especially for things like this. You can peek in your base, and you did end up losing that overlord, but he saw everything on that path. So DirtyFly will finally take an expansion. Unfortunately, I think it's probably too late for him because this army is just getting pretty massive. And we do have some infestors coming, so pathogen clans will, looks like, not quite be done when that infestor is done. If you queue up an infestor about a third of the way to halfway when this pathogen clans is done, then that first infestor that you make will come out with the upgraded energy. And now it's going to actually take longer to get that energy than it would have if he would have just waited a couple seconds longer. I think he was probably trying to time it and just a little bit early on that infestor. So we do have an attack right here that I'm completely not looking at. And there's just a massive amount of roaches right now. We do have some really good force fields to kind of chop off a lot of this army, and a lot of these roaches are just kind of doing nothing here in the back, but it's not going to matter because there's just so many that's going to outnumber all the forces of DirtyFly. And he's just going to keep pushing through, and there's one lone immortal trying to defend this, and here comes the infestor. There are cannons on the high ground, but that's not going to be able to do it, and DirtyFly throws out the GG. And just great awareness and just overall mechanical play by Macabre. So we'll see you for the next game.